At least 90 people died as a result of 2 outbreaks of the killer superbug Clostridium difficile in 3 Kent hospitals. The Healthcare Commission this week published a damning report of Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells NHS Trust's litany of errors in handling the infections. This is a major upheaval when the PFI at Pembury is about to get the go-ahead and the contracts are about to be signed. What reassurances can you give that the project is still safe?
Well, nothing's changed over the last few days. I'm as committed as the previous Chief Executive to ensure that the PFI is delivered for the population of Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells. I believe it's a very innovative design which will actually answer a lot of the questions that were posed in the Healthcare Commission report. And I think it's critical for the future of hospital services within West Kent that the PFI is delivered.
The report mentions the condition of Kent and Sussex Hospital. Obviously it's in dire need of replacement.
Yes, I believe it is in dire need of replacement. Having said that, I think the Trust has made significant strides in the last few months and will continue to make strides to improve the environment in the Kent and Sussex Hospital. I think one of the problems of having a PFI or any new hospital development in the background is often you get an investment blight for the existing hospital, and I think that's probably part of what has happened at the Kent and Sussex. And I think we've changed that, and there's quite a lot of work now going on at the Kent and Sussex to improve the quality of care and quality of the environment at that hospital, and that will continue because we have to bridge the gap between now and when the new PFI hospital is open.
And I mean, obviously you're very new to the job. What sort of things are you going to be doing immediately?
Immediately, clearly, this week's an interesting week for a number of reasons, but it's my primary objective over the next few years is to build a team that can deliver the agenda necessary for the Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells Hospitals Trust over the next few months and years.
I think what was clear to me when I reached this trust was that the trust was not really prepared, indeed like many other trusts in the country, for an outbreak of this size and complexity. The outbreak was therefore a steep learning experience both for the organisation and the clinicians, and we have taken those lessons learnt and we have used them to construct a raft of measures that should eliminate the risk of a further recurrence. If you now are admitted to our wards, be it here at Maidstone or at Tunbridge Wells, you will find a clean environment. We have invested heavily in extra cleaning, particularly on the wards and at both daytime and through the night. If you come onto our wards, you will find that the doctors and the nurses are washing their hands. We've invested heavily in hand washing campaigns, and you will find evidence of that all around the hospital, from the front of the hospital and the entrance through to each ward. We have also looked at the way we treat the condition. So we've looked at our use of antibiotics. We now recognise that antibiotics are powerful drugs that can cure disease, but are also powerful drugs that can cause disease. So we've introduced restrictions on the use of those antibiotics that predispose to the emergence of Clostridium difficile. We have introduced new integrated clinical pathway for the management of Clostridium difficile, recognising that this is a disease that should be regarded as an entity in its own right. The integrated care pathway, which has been successfully piloted and is now on the wards, formalises the diagnosis, the investigation, the monitoring and the management of this condition. It gives early warning of complications that could further affect the outcome of the patients. And I think it is by concentrating on issues such as these that we are able to demonstrate to you today that we have brought down hugely the rate of infection in this trust, so it now is amongst the best in the country rather than the worst. We're not complacent, we don't want to be amongst the best, we want to be the best. And I believe it's this approach which is sustainable that should give our patients and the population confidence in this trust, and it is once again a safe place in which to receive care.
One of our midweek titles, Your Maidstone, has launched a campaign for better NHS hospitals. Can I put a few of the points that they've raised to you?
Yes, of course.
Great. The first one is better cleaning of hospital wards and changing dirty bed linen more regularly to stop patients' wounds becoming infected. That was also mentioned in the report, so I take it this is something that the Trust has already addressed.
Absolutely, and indeed the cleaning teams now work 24 hours a day, which has gone a long way, I believe, to addressing that very useful point.
I would sincerely hope it had been addressed. And as I say, we have put a huge extra investment into cleaning the wards both day and night.
Another interesting suggestion is stimulating the elderly with access to radios and TVs so they don't give up and succumb to superbugs, because obviously is it when you're at a low ebb you're more likely to get infections such as these, is that right?
Well, I'm not a medical man, but it sounds logical to me. I mean, I'm sure part of your mind is an important part of the healing process, and it sounds an interesting idea, certainly.
Indeed.
I think it's hugely important to keep our elderly population as active as possible. I think keeping patients motionless in a bed is bad for them psychologically and bad for them medically.
The other idea is providing better nutrition in hospital food. The lady whose father died after catching C. diff in Maidstone Hospital was trying to give him probiotic yogurt, as she understood that helped with the treatment of the illness, but the nurses refused to allow that. Would sort of food plans come into tackling superbugs?
Absolutely. I mean, having good nutrition is an important part of the care of all patients, but particularly elderly patients, which are obviously more susceptible to the C. diff bacteria.
I think in general terms that is true. I don't know the details of that particular case, but I would say we have recognised the importance now of nutrition in the management of what is otherwise a chronically debilitating condition such as C. diff. You will note that the Healthcare Commission in its report also drew attention to the importance of assessing the nutritional status of patients and addressing that wherever possible.